Hi, lovelies. Now, I have to admit, the closer we get to the holidays, and let's be honest, the closer I get to having this baby, the more decadent my recipes seem to become. And today is definitely no exception. I am sharing 3 outrageously delicious new ways to enjoy French toast, which is traditionally a very humble dish, but these tasty twists definitely take it right over the top. To get started today, I have 4 words that are gonna make brunch in your house a whole lot better from now on. Creme Brulee French toast. Are you kidding me, guys? As with most French toast, this one starts by mixing up our egg and milk mixture. In this case, I'm starting with 6 eggs, and to that I'm going to add a combination of whole milk and some cream. Depending on how decadent you want to make this recipe, you can change your ratio of milk to cream any way you want. So you could add a little more cream and a little less milk, or vice versa. I like the combination of 4 parts whole milk to 1 part cream. To that, I am going to add some flavor. So I've got some vanilla headed in here. I've got some cinnamon and the secret ingredient, some ground nutmeg. I'm just going to give this all a really, really good whisk. You wanna make sure that everything is really thoroughly mixed before we go ahead and pour this over our bread. For the bread in this recipe, I am using just a traditional French loaf that I've cut into really nice thick slices. But what I've done is left my bread out for about 3 or 4 hours. The idea here is we wanna dry out our bread. The drier your bread is, the more like a sponge it becomes. I know this is gonna feel like a lot of liquid, but you won't believe how quickly this bread is going to absorb it. I'm basically going to let my bread hang out in this mixture for about an hour in the refrigerator. Then I'm gonna flip my bread over and let it hang out for at least another hour. And after all that resting, look at what happens. There's almost no liquid left behind, which is a really good sign. It means the bread has absorbed all of that amazing goodness. Unlike traditional French toast, which you would just fry up in a frying pan, we're actually going to be baking this amazing French toast with a brown sugar topping that, when it cools, is going to create this really sort of crackly crust on top, hence why we call this creme brulee French toast. To make the topping is really simple. All I'm going to do is combine some brown sugar with a whole lot of melted butter. I know, we're not exactly watching our calories around this kitchen these days, but that's what the holidays are all about. Trust me, in January, I will have so much healthy content for you guys, you won't even know what to do with it all. I'll give that all a good mix and then pour it out on a non-stick baking sheet. Cannot stress to you enough how important non-stick is in this situation. Truly, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Once I've got my brown sugar mixture spread in an even layer on my baking sheet, I'm simply going to transfer my bread over to that baking sheet and then pop this entire thing in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. At that point, the French toast is nicely cooked and you'll see that the sugar mixture is nice and bubbly. That is a really good sign. All I'm going to do is place this under the broiler for another 2 to 3 minutes, just until it's nice and toasted on the underside, and then we can get it out of the oven. The secret is to flip your French toast over onto another baking sheet, and what you end up with is all of that brown sugar topping on top. This stuff is super sweet and flavorful. I definitely do not recommend serving it with any maple syrup because you don't need any additional sugar. What I love to do is just top it with some nice fresh whipped cream and serve it up with a few berries. Simple as that. This is the perfect treat for a special occasion. Trust me, your guests will be asking for the recipe. If you're a savory instead of a sweet person, you shouldn't rule French toast out completely. You can actually make really amazing savory French toast, like this incredible Parmesan crusted French toast stuffed with ham and cheese. Come on, guys. Would I lead you astray? Once again, we're starting with some eggs. I've got 6 eggs in my bowl. To that, I am going to add some whole milk, and then we are going to add some flavor. So I've got a little bit of Dijon mustard and some garlic powder, and finally, some freshly grated Parmesan. You guys know, one of my favorite ingredients of all time. I'm gonna give this a good whisk and season it with some salt and pepper to taste, and then I can get to work on frying up my French toast. Once again, I'm just using a French loaf that I cut into nice thick slices, and I've left those pieces out for a few hours to let them dry out. And then I'm gonna dunk 2 pieces of my dried bread in my amazing savory Parmesan delicious mixture. Now in this case, our savory French toasts are going to actually be pan fried. We're basically just going to melt some butter and then fry it up until it's nice and golden on both sides. Really important, you do not cook your French toast over anything higher than medium heat. Otherwise, you risk burning it on the outside before it has a chance to cook through on the inside. Trust me, your patience will be rewarded. The Parmesan is gonna create an unbelievable crust on this French toast. Oh yeah, this is looking fabulous. One great tip if you're cooking a big batch of French toast like this is to keep the cooked slices in the oven on low heat just to keep them heated through while you're cooking the rest. That way, when you go to serve it, it's all still nice and hot. Once these are done, as if they weren't delicious enough, we are going to load them up with some ham and some Swiss cheese. I will tell you, this does not have to be reserved for just breakfast or brunch. This will work for breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, snack, pretty much any meal of the day. Finally, guys, for something truly show-stopping, as if the other two weren't enough, we are going way over the top and making banana bread French toast. And it's not French toast that tastes like banana bread, it's actually banana bread turned into French toast. Now in this case, I'm actually using some store-bought banana bread that I've just cut into slices. If you wanted to go ahead and make your own banana bread, that is an even better idea. And I just happen to have an amazing recipe on the channel for my grandmother's banana bread that I highly recommend you try once you're done watching this yummy video. Either way, whether you're using store-bought or homemade, the idea here is that you're going to want to let your banana bread dry out for as long as you can, especially because banana bread is quite moist on its own. Once your banana bread has had an ample chance to dry out, you can go ahead and mix up your egg and milk mixture. In this case, I'm using 4 eggs and 1 cup of whole milk, and I'm going to add a splash of vanilla to that for some flavor. I'll give that a good whisk, and then once again, I have my favorite non-stick frying pan fired up on the stove. I am just going to melt some butter into that pan. Then while that butter is melting away, I will get dipping my pieces of banana bread. And then it's just back to the frying pan to fry up our banana bread French toast in exactly the same way. They're gorgeous and golden brown. Oh my gosh. Sorry everyone, I'm a little too excited. I love serving this yumminess with some sliced banana, some walnuts, and a little bit of maple syrup for good measure. Although take my word for this one, you'll only need a little bit of maple syrup because the banana bread is plenty sweet all on its own. Oh, was it ever worth the wait, everyone? This dish is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Now, I will fully admit that maybe these aren't the healthiest recipes I've ever made on the channel, but I will totally tell you that they are worth each and every delicious calorie. So I hope you will give them a try. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because as always, I love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind the full recipes are linked in the description box below. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.